I'm business coach and consultant, and in the last years, more and more recognized that people get more stressed, and I would also use the word they are more confused, in my opinion. And what I have recognized is that when I met them first, they were also total enthusiastic, and they were talking about their career. They were talking about they're involved in 3, 4, 5 projects. They got a lot of emails. They were really proud of that, being involved in so many things. And when I met them, some years later, it totally changed, and they started to talk about their first heart attack, that they are divorced, and that they like to do something totally different, that is more socialized and that is more worth it to spend so much time in it. And I started to think for myself, okay, what is it? Why happened that to so many people? And I think is that we are living in a world that is getting more and more complex every day. So every day, everything changes, a lot of information arrives us, and we are not ready to deal with that at the moment. There are a lot of things happens around us, so we have smart living, we were talking about smart cities, so a lot of technological aspects are already reached a smart level. But what does it mean when it comes to be smart as a human? And there I want to share my thoughts with you. This is why I've chosen the title Work Smarter, Not Harder. And I think it's the 3 steps you see on the screen already, the 3 areas to have a closer look at it. And the first one is think. The second one is do. And the third one is reflect. So that sounds quite easy when you read it. I think it's, yeah, okay, think, do, reflect. We do that every day. But there we have some traps. We tap into it every day, and I'd like to share the traps with you. The first trap I'd like to call the perpetuum mobile thinking. And I think everybody of you knows there is a cool idea coming into your mind. Then you think that idea is worth it to follow up. What do? You start to Google. When you Google, you found some TED Talks, you found some cool books, you think that's worth it, you go to Amazon, you shop. Then you met somebody, you talk to that one, and you have some nice other point of views. What do? You start again to Google to find some new information. And then you say, okay, I have enough. Now, when I have read all the information, all the books, I will do a decision to follow up the idea, to transform something in my life. And what happens? You started to read the first pages, and then the new next brilliant idea appears. And what happens? The old idea is gone. And this is what I call the perpetuum mobile thinking. So you never came out of this thinking mode, which is quite interesting, of course, when you study philosophy or something. That is your daily business. But if you want to invent a product or something, or produce a furniture or whatever, then it's maybe a handicap. So I call this the first trap. And then the next trap, when you have made a decision and you start to work on an idea, I call the next trap the perfectionism. Because what happens then? We are all learned, I'm sure you all know the 80-20% rule, 80% of preparation, 20% of doing. We started to do researches, we started to produce waterfall diagrams, we started to talk about best case scenarios, worst case scenarios. So we had a lot of paper with all information before we start doing something. And I think in that world we are living in, which changes so fast, sometimes when we come into the doing mode, the idea we had is already done by some other, or is overtaken by some other ideas or other people. So I think the perfectionism is the next trap we fall into. And then when we end a project, sometimes it happens, you have those waterfall diagrams, you have the milestones, you reach the last milestone, check, project is finished. Then for me, from my point of view, that is normally the point where we should reflect. But what happens? I don't know why, but the most people I met in my working life, they don't think about the end of a project. It is so helpful. So I call the last one the ignorance, because people, instead of thinking about what was good, what was not so good, what can we do better, or do we need other information, are we on the right way, they ignore it. And the visual should be the 3 monkeys, maybe you know them. I don't hear, I don't see, I don't talk about it. the project is finished. So no reflection at all. So these are the traps, but I'm here to give you an idea what I think is a solution. And the thing to reflect from my point of view is, first of all, clear your mind. Does it mean it sounds easy? I think it's also what we had already in the first 2 talks. Do a decision. Take your time, clear your mind, set up decision-making criteria for yourself, like we had it in the first talk with the day and night life. Sorry, I have to speed up. With your day and night life, and also to take time for meditation. So clear your mind. Try to focus on what is really important at the moment, what is on the table right now. The next thing is forget the perfectionism and came into the trial and error mode. Because then you do, and you can easily go the next step and go into the reflection mode. And here I think it's very important to keep it in your mind. Take a team, take a good team, take your time and reinvent yourself. The time is gone that you have an idea is born, you professionalize it and you carry on for that idea in the next 100 years.
Last point.
Sorry. That was the technical reason. Come on.
No.
5-minute talk.
It wasn't.
0.
Okay, I'm finished. So then reinvent. That is the last point that is really important. And yeah, there is no reason why don't smart up now.